everybody. On behalf of the French Federation of Electronics, FDF, I would like to welcome you to this special interview. Indeed, today we have the pleasure and honor to have with us Miin WU, CEO of Macronix, a Taiwan-based integrated device manufacturer, leader in providing NVM memories. Miin WU, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I will now hand over to Pascal Coutance, Editor-in-Chief of VI Press, and he will lead this interview. Thank you, and see you soon at the Federation of Electronics.
Thank you, Laurence.
Thank you.
And many thanks to you, Mr. Miin WU, for being here today with us in Paris. Welcome in Paris. First of all, could you please introduce yourself in a few words, and also tell us about your company? I mean by that, date of creation, number of people who work in the company, maybe a company revenue and so on.
Yes, I think maybe let me to introduce myself. My life has been very interesting and special. I was born in China, and when I was 5-6 months old, my parents carried me all the way to Taiwan. And after I graduated from the university and the graduate school in Taiwan, I moved on to US for another graduate studies. And then eventually I worked for Silicon Valley in the semiconductor company at the time. Okay. So 36 years ago, I decided to return to Taiwan to start my company, Macronix, with many ideas in mind. But it turned out to be now we are one of the largest non-volatile memories. So we are producing no flash, we're producing NAND flash, and also we are trying to catch up the leader in the NAND flash area. Okay. So that's what we do. And of course, we have been in the revenue-wise in the neighbor of $1 billion in a few years. But I would say in the next couple of years, we should break that records. We'll see by then.
Okay. And do you have partnerships with companies like foundries, for example, or do you produce your circuits by yourself?
Well, you know, I've been trained in the Silicon Valleys. You know, Silicon Valley is the capital of the semiconductors. Okay. Or you can say all the high tech they have. Not only have a semiconductor company, they do have a good system company and altogether. So Silicon Valley is very good training ground for me. For example, I learned a lot of things over there. So when I start my company, I actually trying to do SoC. We call it System on Chip solutions. Yeah. But anyway, after 36 years in operation, now we are one of the leader in the non-volatile memory today. So because of my past training, so I always trying to develop something interesting and new. So that's what we're trying to do. Today, you know, most of our solution can be applied to automotive, industrial, medical today, you know, and hopefully we can develop more advanced technology for those areas where we can really save humans' life in the long run.
Okay. And what is your added value? What is the added value of your company compared to other ones that specialize in memories?
Well, first, we are not only just manufacturer. You know, in Asia, most of the company, they can license, they can take in advantage someone else, and then they can do the manufacturing over there. But my goal always trying to be able to develop new ideas. So that's why one of the new idea is in the medical area, because used to be the medical is all centered on the medicines, but the problem right now is. You need to find out the best doctor to treat you, but this not very difficult. Not everybody can get the best doctors. So what we're trying to do is we're developing new things. Hopefully, every doctor has a small box in their on their desks where they can identify the patient's problem right like that. So in that case, the doctor can be using very low cost box, and then we can make everybody a best doctor rather than, only 1%, 2%, 5%, right? So.
Okay. Last January, Macronix announced a big investment in your fab, wafer fab.
Yes.
Which product family will see supply improvement thanks to this investment? And when will we see the first deliveries of the product from this new fab?
Thank you. I think, let me to go back a little bit earlier. This company, when I formed it, without government support, right? So semiconductor always requires government support because the investment dollar huge. Okay, so in my case is I didn't get much. I didn't get nothing from government, but when I started, I managed to grow my company step by step. So I built 6-inch fab, 8-inch fab, and the 12-inch fab. But anyway, so in the last 36 years, I have moved onto the 12-inch fab. That's where my new investment is come to. Okay, the reason is right now the many people need advanced flash devices. So with this new investment, what we're trying to do is fill up our 12-inch fab, all the spaces, and then we're trying to focusing on the multi-layers. We call it 3D NAND flash device, where our production is centered on the 48 layers, 96 layers, and we're already able to develop 192 layers, and also we are working on over 300 layers of the 3D NAND flash devices. Okay. So I think hopefully, we can support many customers in the automotive area, in the industrial area, and also in the medical area by using those capacities.
Okay. And for the new fabs, it will come very soon? Product?
It's really depend on the equipment availability. Okay. Right now, a lot of people are spend their fabs. So I think it is, really depend on the vendors' support to give us equipment. But so far, I believe that by end of this year, we're probably getting a little bit capacity increase, but most of the capacity increase will be in the next years.
Next year, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Macronix is a worldwide leader in flash memory.
Yes.
For code and data storage also.
Yes.
Thanks to this position you have, what is your vision about the memory shortage? Let's say in the 12 months ahead or something like that.
Okay. Before we talk about the memory shortage, I like to emphasize something Macronix did in the last 36 years. I think one thing I'm very much proud of is, I developed a very special ideas to improve the quality of the devices, also to improve the yield for the devices. What I did is 36 years ago, what I'm trying to do is trying to compete with the Japanese vendors. But in Taiwan, the problem is Taiwanese people are very, very good. They work very hard. But the problem is their discipline is nowhere near to the Japanese. The Japanese and German are probably considered two best country to demonstrate their qualities, their disciplines. So in Taiwan, if we want to compete with a Japanese company, I have to do something different because the Taiwanese people work hard, but not disciplined enough. So what I did is I built the first factory in the world in semiconductor area by using computer link everything in the production. So that means is I was the first company in the semiconductor industry build a paperless semiconductor production line. So not only that, since computer can collect many information you're looking for from beginning to the ends, including testing, everything you can think about it. And then I decided, maybe this is good time for me to using those informations. So what I did is 36 years ago, I hired a lot of statisticians, mathematicians to work with my semiconductor professional people. So I was the first one in semiconductor area to use AI concept into semiconductor manufacturing.
So AI and connected plant.
Yes, and that AI technology eventually leaked out in Taiwan, and then many of my friends, they hire my people, and to build up that similar thing. So that's why the Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing become the best in the world. We are taking the leadership. So that's why suddenly Taiwan become very famous. Okay, so this is something is a background for you. So now I try to answer your question about
Shortage.
the shortage.
Yeah.
Very good. So what happened? I think someone making a interesting move. So the shortage come. This shortage is nothing to do with the cycles we are seeing before.
Okay.
These are totally new things. Okay. And because the new data center by using GPU to make a brand new high performance data center. So this has almost come out from the blue sky. Nobody expect that happen. So all the capacity being used.
Yeah.
In order to build enough capacity to satisfy their needs will take a long time. Okay, so for now, of course, the people will probably hope that the new data center or GPU or AI will be bubble. So that is one of the scenario people are looking for.
Yeah.
If that is happening, I would say this shortage maybe in 2 years will disappear.
Okay.
But however, I think some people is also thinking making a very high performance data centers by changing the concept of the NAND devices structure. So, but if they do that, then I would say is the shortage could be last 4 years. So somewhere between 2 to 4 years. That's my opinion for the memory shortage.
Okay. Thank you very much to give us a very specific provision for that. So as you told us, Macronix is focusing on industrial, automotive, and medical applications. And we are also seeing 3D flash technology arriving at Macronix. So is it to address the AI market, this kind of technology? And more generally, is AI an important target for your company in the coming years?
Well, everybody's making something in the AI area. As I said, 36 years ago, I already developed something for the AI, right? So, but the AI can be using for many different things. Can be using for the design, can be using for the application, can be using for the manufacturing, you name it. Okay, so I would say is everybody today are doing things for AI, but that is just because the current technology is capable to analyze information in time. That's why this market become a booming. Okay, so my Macronix, what we do is we do 3D, but we are not only doing 3D NANDs. we're also doing 3D NOR.
Oh, yeah.
So in that case is, for example, then we are trying to move NOR flash from current stage to the next move because people are looking for high quality, high density, NOR flash design, these devices for simple design of a system. So actually, particularly in the automotive area, many of my customers are looking for 3D NOR devices where we can provide 4 gigabit or 8 gigabit very high performance of the NOR flash devices. As I said, we are also trying to develop the up to 300, more than 300 layers of the NAND, where we also trying to improve the performance of that. So hopefully the SSD devices can using my approach for better performance of the SSD. But mainly we are actually developing a lot of interesting concepts like computing in memory, where we can really improve the doctor's environment. So we can hopefully we can save more people in the world than everybody else.
So it's always focusing on your specific application. I mean, automotive, industry, medical.
Those are the main intention. Yeah. So I think those are the smaller market, but I think those market is important to save people's life or improve people's life.
Okay. Let's talk about Europe. Is Europe an important market for Macronix? And how do you see the position of Europe in the worldwide semiconductor industry in the coming years? Because you know that we have a European Chip Act. So do you think it will be sufficient for Europe to have a better place in the huge world of semiconductor electronics between the US and between the companies from Asia?
Well, Europe always been a places where you can find many high technology, from the cars, from industrial, from many places. Europe has been very important area where the high tech been excel. So my opinion is today the European normally is very innovative, but they are losing the competition in the semiconductor or in the electronic area because Asia has produced a lot of low-cost manpower to compete with Europe and also US in that way, right? So I think people have to think about it differently. Number one, I think the Europe and the US are the leader in the innovation area. So I don't think they can do innovation in one end and doing manufacturing another end. So somehow, the whole world has to be arranged in such a way that, you do your best and then there's someone else to do the best on their own to support your growth, right? So that's what my opinion is. Okay. Now, but however, the semiconductor is important. You cannot just leave the semiconductor to Asian. You have to build your own. So my encourage is the people in the Europe, they have to figure out what is the best for them. And then with a limited investment, but maintain a very high profile in the semiconductor area. This is where the important. Mm-hmm. So maybe I give you one example. In Asia, particularly in semiconductor area, a lot of investment done by the government. So in that cases, they have cheap labor, they have government investment, so they have very strong competition power. So I think Europe have to thinking carefully. Mm. So what do you try to do? You of course you want to maintain your strengths in the high tech area, right? You need to make sure you can provide some of the product for yourself. Eventually, you don't want to lose to the Asia. So how you do that? This is really test government intelligence to figure a way out to create a situation that you can compete in the world environment. So,
yeah, okay, this is a very interesting point of view because in Europe you have to federate all the different countries to
yes,
make the effort to develop the industry. And the
yes,
federation is the French Federation of Electronics is also here to make to give the good message to European politicians
yes,
and so on.
yes, yes,
So we work on that.
yes.
Could you please tell us a word about the consequences of a geopolitical conflict for the semiconductor industry? Are you impacted by that? And if yes, in which way?
Well, first is I think I have, as an industrial people, I cannot comment anything on political area. So my comment is, in the past, I did my comment that the geo conflicts really determined by three persons: the Taiwanese leader, Chinese leader, and U.S. leader. They have to think about how to make the best wisdom decisions, okay? Or make the best decision by their wisdoms. So all I'm saying is that, of course, if something happened like that, there will be the whole world economy will be set back by 20 years, in my opinion. So I don't think the European people say, oh, this is the conflict is no longer with us, but it is. If something happened, everybody can avoid the problems. So I would say is, the peace always better than something happened. So I would encourage the three major leaders using their wisdom to make the best decision.
I hope you're right. And my last question is a very prospective one. What is your vision for the next 20 years for the semiconductor industry? Do you think AI will continue to make the industry grow up, or do you see other technological huge trend in the coming decades?
Okay. The only comment I really like to make is using me as examples. I have double E backgrounds. I have material science background because I study both area before. I also interested in mathematics when I was young. So what that means is cross-boundary knowledge become more and more important. So what's going to happen in the future is really not in my power to decide it. I would say is the new generation, they are very smart, they learn other things, but they need to really look at more and more things they can combine the technology altogether. So I think that is the one thing very important to determine what happened to the next 50 years. And I cannot say anything on that because I'm too old. I already happy that I already make a big change for the semiconductor industry in the last 30-some years already. So I hope someone, can take over, continue invent new things, new technology, and make things more different.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Miin WU, for this very interesting conversation, and many thanks to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.